Hi guys, my name is Natalia Gavlin, and you might have seen my other videos that deal with marriage-based cases. In this video, I would like to talk to you about preparation and attendance of the immigration interview. Specifically, a marriage-based interview, adjustment interview to be exact. It's probably the most important part of your immigration process when it comes to getting a green card through marriage. Because, as I said earlier, you might have a beautifully documented case. You might have documents that speak for themselves. But if you cannot come to the immigration officer and explain and make them feel that what you have with your spouse is a real bona fide marriage on multiple levels, that you have joint ownership of certain things, that you commingle your funds, that you have a social network, that you have a life together, that you really are here because you are in love and you want to build new life, then the documents will not themselves do it for you. So let's start with the preparation for the interview. Preparation for the interview involves two steps. One is preparing the documents. At the time you file your petition, your green card application, and all the supporting documents, to the time of the interview, there is usually a very long time, months, possibly even over a year. During the time, I usually tell my clients to collect every piece of evidence that shows their life together. So I say, make a box. Anything that comes in the mail, put it there, bring it to me. I will sort it out. I will make a decision what is worth showing to the officer and what isn't. So getting your documents together, updated bills, updated leases, insurances. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. But when you get your documents together, it has to be prepared. It has to speak for itself. The second part of preparation involves preparing yourself. You have to be prepared. You have to come into the immigration officers and you have to let them know that you are here to get a green card. I usually ask my clients that. I said, do you want a green card? And they say, yeah, of course I want it. Like, so come in and let that officer know that you are here to get that green card. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take them to question you. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 3 hours. At the end of the day, you are getting the green card. And you have to come in with that amount of confidence and that amount of preparation. Now, how to prepare for this interview? Oh, you have to speak to each other. As funny as that sounds, legitimately married people sometimes get things wrong. They could have been married for multiple years, but if you ask one and you ask the other what color something is or what tea they drink in the morning, you'll be surprised how often they will get that wrong. Now, does that mean they do not live together? No, of course not. They just didn't speak to each other to even pay attention to something like that. They know it happens, they just don't know the details. Now, the immigration officer will ask those questions. And they don't care that you made that mistake because you didn't pay attention to it. They will think you're not together because you're married. You're together because you're trying to get an immigration benefit. And you do not want to be in that situation. So speak to each other. Try to figure out your background. Try to figure out daily things. Try to pay attention to the things that happen when you get home to the moment you leave. Now, another thing, of course, speak to your attorney. I spend a lot of time preparing my clients. We do intense interview takes. Sometimes my clients tell me I overdo it, but I believe that it's better to be overly prepared than under-prepared. So we sit and we talk sometimes for days. And what we do is I try to make them feel that they're in a situation where interview is being conducted right then and there. They need to understand what to expect. They need to know that the officer could have different tone. They could have their own ideas about what marriage is, and you need to know how to deal with that. I just had an interview this Monday, and the officer kept saying things, and I was listening to her, but she kept stressing things that I understand mean something to her, but really should not have any effect on making a decision in a case. For example, she would say things very judgmental, like, you proposed to her without a ring? Like, it was so important. How could you do that? And I'm sitting there thinking, what makes you think that everybody gets proposed with a ring? There are different cultures. There are different backgrounds. People look at this differently. Now, when someone says that to you with that tone of voice, people usually feel guilty, like, oh my God, I should have had a ring. And then you get defensive and then you lose your confidence and you lose that thought of, I came here for a green card. You get all discombobulated, and you should never lose it. You should always be prepared of how to answer questions that you might not have expected. Now, so we go back and forth with my clients, and I ask them all kinds of questions in different tones, just so that they're prepared, because the truth is, you do not know who your officer will be. You don't know what kind of day they will be having that day. You don't know what their background is and how they view the whole concept of marriage. They could be nice, happy, and friendly, and the interview will take 10 minutes. You'll talk about dogs and go home. Or it could be a couple of hours, because maybe they're just not happy, or maybe they look at every single person who comes before them as someone who's trying to, mess with the system and just do this fake, fraudulent marriage. So it doesn't matter what they are and who they are. And I always tell my client, it doesn't matter who your officer is. It doesn't matter what mood they're in. Because if you're prepared and you come in there with a confident attitude, it will be perfect. Now, what's confident attitude? Practice makes perfect, and practice gives you confidence. There's a lot to it that is sort of like a psychological game. I don't mean to say game like it's not a serious thing. Of course it is a serious thing. It's possibly the most serious interview of your life. But it is a game in a way that you have to come there and you have to present yourself, and you have to present the case, and you have to be ready and pick your battles. Sometimes when you see an adversary officer, you have to find a moment when you stop them, because you might not want to do it in the very beginning. Maybe they'll change their mind. And I have seen that. I've seen officers who start off very adversarial, very aggressive, and they put a client through a lot of bad influence and bad attitude. And then at some point, something is said and they change and they become a normal person, and you just go home in a couple of minutes and it's approved, and you just never know what it's going to be. But until you speak to your spouse, until you speak to an attorney, until you do this practice, you have your documents, you will not be prepared. And that's what I do. I spend a lot of time because I think it's really, really important. And a lot of people say, but why do I need a lawyer? Why do I need a lawyer to go with me to an interview? We're really married. I have this, I have that. We know each other. I speak to her mother. Everything is perfect. Why do I need to have a lawyer? Now, you don't need to have a lawyer at the immigration interview, especially for adjustment interview. You really don't. And actually, I do not push that service. That is an additional service that I offer to my clients. I never really push it, because I say, well, if you're comfortable and if you're confident, and usually after my prep people are, then you can go on your own. But if you want that extra help, you want somebody to be present in the room who will monitor everything that's going on, who will take notes about everything that's being questioned, and if needed, step up and protect your rights and protect your case, then yes, you need to bring an attorney. And obviously then there are cases that are more complicated. I mean, I'm speaking right now for a very simple case. There are no really bumps, no issues, everything is perfect. But if you are dealing with a case that's complicated, you have maybe criminal issues, you have other issues that might make it really, really tough, then yes, you need to bring an attorney, you need to be prepared how to answer all the questions. I mean, I could go on and on about how to prepare for this, but everyone's case is different. And if you have any additional questions, I think you can contact my office and I will be happy to assist you.